make it make sense Monday. All right, I told you I was coming on at 9 o'clock, right? So we're just gonna get straight into it, okay? For a lot of people, I want government contracting to make sense, right? I don't want it to cause any confusion. So I put a method in place, right, that you're gonna want to see. And it is called the C.L.E.A.R method. C.L.E.A.R. All right. And I'm going to go over a slide and I am going to make sure that it makes sense to you what government contracting is. All right. So the slide I put together, we're going to go over that and I'm going to make it as clear as I possibly can. All right. So we're just going to get right into it. I'm just going to share my screen. And if you have any questions, come over to the live chat. I always do that, lives over here. If you have any questions, come into the live, ask, and I will answer any other questions that you have. You know, we have to do a. All right, so. Oh, I definitely. Okay. All right, we're going to share. Boom. Let's put it in a. Presentation form. All right. First of all, we have to do a audio check because there will be no more videos without sound. I just had enough. So what I'm going to do is double check that I have audio, right? Okay. All right. So I have audio, which is good. Now we're just going to start it off like this, right? Whoa. All right. We'll put it here. So what we're going to talk about today is the C.L.E.A.R method of winning government contracts. There is a ton of gems in this video. And if y'all stay tuned till the end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a bonus that will help you stay encouraged in the government contracting space, because ultimately my number one goal is not only to educate and inspire, but it's for you to win government contracts. Overall, that is my biggest goal. Also in the comments, please put in the comments what has been frustrating you in the government contracting space. Things that seem to be tough for you at this time in your career when it comes to government contracting. I also put a poll up, so go answer that poll. But today, the C.L.E.A.R method to winning government contracts. This is nothing pretty, but it works, right? So it's a step-by-step strategy that I have found that works in the government contracting space. Once again, nothing pretty, but straight to the point. All right, so each letter has a meaning. C is for certify and create. The L is for locating opportunities. The E is to evaluate your opportunities and educate. And then your A is applied to win. And if you do all of that correctly, if you repeat and refine, you will continue to hit contract after contract and win. Right? So this step-by-step strategy has worked for me. I have secured $340,000 in government contracts in the last year using this simple strategy. C.L.E.A.R. All right. So it's Make It Make Sense Monday, and I'm about to make it make sense. All right. Not just cents, but dollars too. All right. So we're missing some here. We're going to have to. All right. I'll pull it up this way. So clear. All right. So we're just going to do it this way. C is for certify and create. Now all the other slides are done. I just noticed that C was missing, so no worries. We're just gonna pull here, right? Super creative. Paste here and then blow it up, right? So, okay, we're gonna start with C. And C is for certified and create. When I say certified and create, what I mean is creating accounts that you need to be registered to be able to bid on contracts, right? Then creating an infrastructure like your website, for instance. A lot of people think you don't need a website, right? But I know off of the contracts that I've won from the data and analytics from my website, I know for a fact that government agencies have looked me up through my website based off of the analytics. I can see who's searching my website, and the contracts that I hit and the ones that I didn't hit, all of those contracting officers looked at my website, right? I've even had contracting officers ask me, well, what does DD Logistics do? We looked at your website. Could you be more clear, right? So capability statement, that's your business resume. If you're going to networking events, you are taking that capability statement anywhere where big decision makers are in the room. Anytime I went to a networking event, I took my capability statement, right? So also when I create, when I say create, I mean to sign up for bid portals, Bonfire, Jagger, Ariba, BidNet Direct, New York State Contract Reporter. All of these platforms you need to open accounts on. That is the gold mine for contracts that you want to search. You will have contracts at the tip of your fingers if you apply for all of these portals. And a lot of the times you will see one portal move you to another portal. That's what will happen oftentimes. Sometimes on New York State Contract Reporter, you will open a contract and it will push you to a third party site like Bonfire, Jagger, or Ariba, because they use those sites as third party sites and as basically just like business job boards, right? And there's thousands of contracts that you can choose from in those portals. You have to be signed up in those portals if you want to win government contracts. All right, so the C is for certified and create. Register in SAM, create your business infrastructure, open accounts on major bid portals. I don't care how many times you have to come back and watch this video, okay? It's Make It Make Sense Monday. This is the way that I'm going to make it make sense for you. Come back and watch as many times as you need to for it to make sense. All right, so the L, like I said, nothing fancy, but it works, okay? The L is for locate opportunities. If you've been watching my content, you know that everything that I'm talking about in this formula, the C.L.E.A.R, C.L.E.A.R, you have heard me touch base on. For instance, L is for locate opportunities. So in all of these portals, what you should be doing is setting alerts on federal and state platforms. You're going to do that so that you don't have to search through thousands of contracts. You can enter your NAICS code. Once you do that, every single day at a certain time, bid specific opportunities will come to you, right? All you have to do is open your email. I love this part because every day I open my email, there's always something waiting for me in my email because I turn the alerts on, and I did it on multiple different platforms. Like if something comes in that is transportation, it comes right to my email. I don't have to sift through and look through thousands of contracts. And I love that feature, right? So understand keywords and filters to find the right contracts. In SAM.gov, there is a search tab. You can search by NAICS code, or you can search by terms, keywords like trucking, painting, containers, medical. I mean, anything that you can think of, you can search on SAM.gov, as well as Bonfire, as well as BidNet Direct, Unison Marketplace. You can search all of these things through the search tab, and each portal has one, right? So start small. Micro purchases, simplified acquisitions. The first contract I ever won was a micro purchase. What that means is under $25,000. That's what it means in my county, right? So starting small was a great strategy for me. Then I started to work my way up. What I mean by that is start bidding small, like backyard small. If you cannot win a contract in your backyard, in your county, where else can you win a contract, right? You want to get involved with the community. You want to start winning contracts in your own backyard for things to go as planned, right? You want to start with something small. You don't want to be overwhelmed with a gigantic $1 billion, $1 million contract that you cannot fulfill or execute. Okay. So when I was awarded that micro purchase and I executed, I knew that I was ready to move on to the next step and then bid much bigger. Right. And I always tell you, whatever you're thinking that's good, think bigger. But what happened was, after I started to look at all of these contracts in my county, they all started to look the same, which made it easier for me to now bid on micro purchases in my county because all those contracts started to look the same. All that they were doing was asking for something different, product or service, but all the documents look the same. Non-conclusive bidding, the state tax page, all of those started to look the same, which made it a lot easier for me to bid. And once I won that micro purchase, I knew I was able to move forward into something bigger, which was just a blessing, right? Start small. If you can execute a contract in your own backyard, you could do this, right? And it was under 25K, but what really matters is the execution of the contract. So start small and then build your way up. That's my advice, and that's exactly what I did to secure $340,000 in government contracts. All right, so we did the C, we did the L, and now we're going to move to E, because I notice a lot of people struggle with E. This is where a lot of people get stuck, and it's evaluate and educate yourself on the contract. Evaluate the contract and educate yourself. So, break down solicitations, RFQs, IFB, and RFP. This part cannot be skipped. I'm always going to tell you, read the contract 1,000 times over. Read, read, read. Do not skip a section. If you don't know what something means, break it down into ChatGPT or C.L.E.A.R. ChatGPT and C.L.E.A.R are tools for you to be able to utilize to understand what some of this jargon is within the contract. Because sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, one eye is here and one eye is there, and they both go in the opposite way, because I'm just like, whoa, what does all of that mean? Right? And it's kind of, it can be frustrating when you're looking at a contract and you're like, listen, it makes you fearful because you have no idea what any of this means. You'll use AI tools to your advantage, but make sure that you read those too. Okay, just don't copy and paste from Chat GPT. Be smart about it, right? Smarter, not harder, but be smart about it. The breakdown of solicitations is very important. All right. You have to break them down, understand what they want, what is in the scope of work, what documents need to be um, submitted and handed in. That is all important information. And if you can follow directions with the breakdown of a solicitation, a lot of, I notice with county and state, what the contracting officer will do is give you a checklist, and that checklist is everything you need to build your proposal. I love that they do that. Like, that is really helpful. And the first page usually is the checklist, but it's easy for you to check things off as you go because usually when you're bidding, it's based on a point system. Okay, like understanding requirements is 25 points, past performance is 10 points. They're going to tell you that in the contract. It's all information that you need to know, right? So learn from awarded contracts and past pricing. FPDS, the Federal Procurement Data System, is perfect for this. But I noticed that they do it now. That's just for federal, but I noticed that they do it in. I noticed that they do it in state and local as well. A lot of contracts are public information. Do the research. Do the research on past awarded work, okay? Because you will figure out, it will help you with pricing and it will help you feel more confident in where, why, when, how. Do your research. Google is your best friend. Know the difference between responsive and responsible bids. Okay, so evaluate and educate. I know a lot of you struggle here. All right. I have a master class that is coming out July 24th. You're going to want to get into this master class because I am going to break down solicitations. I am going to show you how to win government contracts and how to be awarded for life-changing results. It only takes one contract to change your life. All right, so you guys stay tuned. July 24th, my master class is coming up and you do not want to miss it. All right, so A. So we did C, certify and create, right? We did L, which was locate opportunities. E is evaluate and educate. And then A is apply to win. Y'all know I lost my Stanley straw. I've been telling y'all the same story for months. I know y'all like, she still ain't get that straw. No. I'm over here using straws from the 99-cent store. Hey, it is what it is. All right, so A is, I'm gonna put this phone on do not disturb. All right, A is apply to win, right? Technical proposal tips, pricing strategies, templates, checklists, and how to stand out. Standing out in the contracting space is very important. You can do that with your website. You can do that with your capability statement. And you can also do that with the face of your company. How is your company represented? Are you professional? Are you organized? Are you well put together? Or are you a hot mess? All right. You don't ever want to give off, you don't ever want to give off the energy that you are a hot mess. You want to be, you know, educating, inspiring. Um, for me, it is a professional climate, but I also am free to be myself within my business. But I stand out in multiple different ways. One is that I am a woman in logistics. 90% of logistics and trucking is male dominant. In 2025, that is starting to rise, but that is one of my different things about me, right? That is how I stand out. Okay. Um, that is one major one. Another way I stand out is in the movement of temperature sensitive freight and food shipments. That's another thing, that helps me to stand out. If it comes to my YouTube channel, right? What makes me stand out there? For me, really, it's my earrings. Like, I love my big earrings, and y'all know when I get on here every single time, y'all gonna see my favorite earrings. Like, I'm absolutely obsessed with earrings. That's my thing, right? every time I try to pick the cutest ones. So when I come up here, y'all can see my new earrings. If they knew when they in the package, I'm gonna put them on, right? And I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna show y'all. So you want to be able to stand out. That's a really big one. Pricing strategies. This is another one because I've been in situations where I have overpriced contracts, and it's tough, right, to look at and understand. Like, okay, I overpriced the contract, but life goes on. If I didn't make those mistakes, I wouldn't be able to come here today and explain to you that this strategy works. Okay. I have failed many, many times. I am not ashamed to say that, right? I have lost contracts. I have won contracts, but it has made me more confident each time I was able to put a proposal together and bid. There is nothing to be scared of in this space. Okay. It is all here, right? From the affirmations you say in the morning to the things you tell yourself when you don't want to go to the gym, it all makes a difference. Quitters never win and winners never quit, right? It's a mindset, okay? And pricing strategies are something you want to get very familiar with because that's your profit, right? That's your profit. But one thing I stopped doing, and this is a this is a gem right here, right? One thing I stopped doing was focusing on money, and I started to focus on solutions. Because if you focus on solutions, the money will come. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say that again because it's deep. I stopped focusing on the money and I started to focus on solutions. How can I help a contracting officer? How can I help a county? How can I help a state? How can I help someone who is requesting that I put a proposal together? Because you're not just providing you're not just providing a product or a service. You are really providing a solution. And these contracting officers, when they pick you cannot give that contract back. They picked you for a reason, right? They did all of this research on you. They contacted you. They did so much investigating on your company. You know, you had conversations with them. They invested in you. You need to be able to provide a solution for them. You have to take the pricing out of it, right? If you can provide a solution, guess what? The money is going to come. The money is going to come. All right. So do not let a contracting officer down. Are mistakes going to happen? Yeah. But what I learned in logistics is mistakes happen, but you need to be honest about them up front. Anytime there's an issue and you let that issue go way too long, it's going to create a bigger issue. All right. That's what logistics has taught me. If you have an issue, for instance, a truck is going to be 20 minutes late, you don't have any guys to offload that truck. The minute you hear, the second that that driver or dispatch reaches out to you, it says, "Hey, Deb, this driver is going to be 20 minutes late. It looks like he's behind on his ETA. GPS is saying 20 minutes. Shipper needs to know immediately." Right? And logistics has taught me that. Don't let things go for too long, right? So A is apply to win, okay? Now we're going to move on to R. And I have a bonus for you too, because you know I love you. All right, so if you can execute the last four, which is C.L.E.A., if you can execute those, right, then you're basically just rinsing and repeating the same strategy again. Okay. Repeat and refine is what R is for. Now, ask for briefs. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't even get it out. Debrief, whether you win or lose. Okay. A debrief is when you put a proposal in, you lose, and you want to know why you lost, or you won and you want to know how you won, so that moving forward you can keep utilizing the same strategies over and over and over again to keep winning more contracts, bringing in more income. Okay, so now when you lose, debriefs, they can be tough to look at, but you want to know what you're doing wrong. You have got to know, because if you know what you're doing wrong, then you can get it right. You can start to pivot, turn. It's kind of a debrief is a way to open up a door for your future. I would have never known that my proposals were unorganized if I didn't ask for debriefs. I would have never known that my pricing was too high if I never asked for debriefs, right? And contracting officers have told me before, hey, we're not going to put together a full debrief, but I will tell you this, right? You're number 4 out of 11. Your pricing was 4 out of 11. Here's where you landed. Here's what you did wrong. Here's what maybe in the future you should do this better. Your past performance was not clear. You have to know what you're doing wrong. So don't be scared of debriefs, right? It's been 1 full year and I have secured $340,000 in government contracts. I could have never did that if I wasn't looking at what I did wrong. And I talk about mindset and the shift. Okay. If you're fearful and scared of something, it means on the other side that there's something good, that some kind of beautiful change is coming, something good is about to happen. So if you're fearful about something and you're not quite sure, just jump. When you are deathly afraid to jump, that is exactly when you jump. Okay, because on the other side of fear are the most beautiful things that you've ever seen. So don't get stuck on the edge of the cliff being afraid to jump, because when you jump, it is the most beautiful thing that you have ever seen, right? And I know a lot of people come to me and they say, I'm fearful of government contracting. And that is okay, because I am here to let you know that I can walk you through this. This masterclass that is coming up, I'm going to help you win government contracts and take that fear away. Okay. Number 2, build relationships with procurement officers. I love doing this. In my county where I was awarded, I send over gift cards. Like I put them in the mail and I send over local coffee gift shops to procurement officers that have awarded me contracts. You know, it helps me stand out. It's something that I'm doing that makes me different, right? Do I know if other companies are sending gift cards as well? No. And if they are, I don't care, because I'm doing it my way. Like that was my idea. You know what I mean? So um, that helps me to stand out and build relationships. Now, one thing I love is when a contract comes across the board, it comes straight to my email. If you build relationships with procurement officers, sometimes that contract might just make it right to you and nobody else has ever saw it. It can come right to your email. It can come in the form of a phone call. Hey, we have something coming up. What do you think? Because of the work that you've done in the past for them, if you've executed, they're going to want to work with you again. Right? And then track your metrics, submissions versus wins. What I have is a Excel spreadsheet. Every single time I bid on a project, I use my Excel spreadsheet to tell me who was the agency, how much did I bid, what was my profit, did I win, how did I submit it, was it via email or Bonfire or Jagger, like some kind of portal. And then I have a notes section and a debrief section on what I could have done better, right? You have to track your metrics. Okay. You want to know how many times you're bidding per month. That's how I know I'm bidding 3 to 6 times per month. Any single time I go to put a contract in and submit it, it goes on that Excel spreadsheet telling me this is how I bidded. This is what I bidded on. And it's easy too, because Sometimes, a majority of the time, all the work is pending. You might submit something and then move on to bid on another contract and not hear back from that contract on a decision for 30, 60, 90 days. So it's easy to go back to your Excel spreadsheet and just say, hey, what happened there? When did I bid on this contract? Was it April, May, June? What was the price? And I use my CRM as well, which is HubSpot, which is phenomenal. And that helps me too. So, all right. So this is the bonus that I have for you. All right. And we're going to blow it up. I want you to watch this video so many times. I also want you to stay tuned for my masterclass July 24th that is coming up. It is something that you want to be a part of, right? So B-I-D, right? This fan feels so good behind me. It is so muggy right now. It is raining. It is pouring. And the old man is snoring. All right. Okay. So all right. I just want to make sure. I will never forget the one time I did this whole video and it was literally no volume. So I'm never going to let that happen again. Now, like in the middle of my lives, I literally will just stop and check my audio because I'm so nervous that I'm going to do a whole video and I'm going to have no audio. And I actually have some pretty big news, which is I don't know. Part of me wants to talk about it, but I don't because it makes me so emotional. But um, my mentor, Dr. Kizzy Parks, is interviewing me tomorrow for a big win on a contract that I just won in New York State. And right now, a lot of it is confidential, but I'm very, very excited for tomorrow. She has helped me in the industry to be able to overcome fear, bid strategically, help me to win. And it's just been an overall blessing to be able to be interviewed on her platform, right? It's so exciting. And I'm trying not to get emotional because this is something that I have literally manifested. Not only did I manifest the interview with her, I've manifested contracts. I've manifested blessings. I've manifested so many different things, right? And you know, I, to God be the glory. Amen. That's what we're gonna say. All right. God got a plan. So here's the bonus, and you're gonna put that in caps lock. All right. So the bonus is bid. B-I-D. Right. Believe. And I always talk about a book by Rhonda Bryan. It is called The Secret. And I recommend that you read that book, please, for me, because that book is very eye opening to if you believe it, you can achieve it. You have to be 1,000% certain that things are going to work out for you and believe that. Whatever doubt you have, you need to pray about it or you need to erase it out of your life because all doubt does is just hinder and hold up the process. You have to visualize the outcome, but believe in yourself. I believe in you because the reason I believe in you is because I really had a hard time with thinking that it would all work out when people believed in me, but really it started to work out when I started to believe in myself. All right, so that's a book recommendation, but you have to believe. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. I know it sounds corny, but it is very, very true. Okay. You can accomplish things that you've never seen coming. My vision board is an abundant blessing, right? Um, but you have to believe in yourself, right? And it's 1,000% certain is what you need to be that this is going to work out for you. And that goes for anything in life. Okay. I is invest time, software, learning, and so much more. In the last year of, let me look at my data here. In the last year, I have been in 4 separate government contracting programs. Whether they are every Tuesday at 3:30 for 6 months, or if they are in person. I took a contracting course at Buffalo State that you all saw. Um, it was a Buff State Marketing and Contract Ready course. That was an eight-week course every Wednesday at a certain time. That was an investment. It was $40. What you got was a bunch of blessings in one, but it taught me how to put together a proposal. I'm sorry, not a proposal, a 7-minute slide pitch, a 1-minute elevator pitch, and there was other things that came with it as well. Um, Software, my CRM system helps me stay organized on all of my contracts. But for me, the biggest investment was learning. It was closing my mouth and opening my ears to hear what other people in this space had to say. That was my biggest investment. Any networking event that was going on, I was even driving out to Rochester, almost an hour and a half away, just to attend government contracting events. And guess what? Out of those 4 classes, only one was an investment, money wise, and it was $40. So almost every class that I was in was a free resource. A free resource, right? I have learned so much from those courses, from those classes. Every time you attend a networking event and show your face, um, one of them, I was able to sit down with so there was a bunch of agencies that were at this one cohort in Rochester. Um, and each agency you can sit down with for 10 minutes to kind of pitch your capabilities, learn about them, they can learn about you. And there were so many that I suggested to myself, I'm just going to pick 3 to 4, sit down for 10 minutes, go with my capability statements, because which one of these agencies, this is what I was thinking, which one of these agencies spends the most on transportation? I picked my 3 and I moved forward. Out of the 3 that I chose, one of them was starting a free bonding course, and um, it was with the New York Power Authority. I was in that course from September 2024 all the way up until now. All right, I'm getting ready to graduate on July 16th in New York City. So if you are from that class, congratulations. I learned a lot from all of you. I learned a lot from NYPA in general. That course was also a blessing. It was every Tuesday at 3:30, and so many people came through and shared about writing proposals, data and analytics, QuickBooks. I mean, it's just so many different things that were taught in that course. That was a blessing. But the way I got in that course was from going to a networking event in Rochester, sitting with NYPA for 10 minutes, meeting with them face to face, learning about them learning about me, put me in that bonding course that ultimately helped me win contracts. Show up, okay? Invest in the learning. You have to invest in the learning, all right? Because we're never going to be perfect, right? But you can grow over and over and over again, and you can make this work for you. The D, excuse me. Oh, I was outside in the rain with my daughter playing softball. I mean, it was torrential downpouring. and my throat hurt a little bit. So the D is for deliver. Deliver also means execution, right? Excellence in performance, communication, and follow through. All right, this is what contracting officers want to see. They want to see the excellence in performance, communication. This is another thing that helps me stand out. Now, I'm going to tell you, in this one course that I was in, it was the marketing and contract ready course in Buffalo, New York. What they would do was they would have agencies come sit down and talk to us about what kind of services they were looking for, what kind of products they buy, challenges that they're facing. Some of them would be in the same room, others would be on Zoom, Teams, whatever you may have. But the one class that I took with Buff State, someone came in from an agency via Zoom, and they were talking about the challenges and the issues that they were having when they were awarding government contracts in the space. One of the things, and it's so funny how God works, it's just mysterious ways, baby. I am so blessed. The woman who came from the agency, it just so happened at the time that I was bidding on a project from that same exact agency. Then 3 months down the line, I was awarded a government contract with that same agency. Talk about a blessing. Talk about a blessing. Is it done? Check it. So the one thing that she was talking about within her agency was communication. She said 70% of the time when she has a company that is bidding on a project, the one thing that her agency struggles with the most is communication. She said either the phone number is wrong, they can't get a person to answer the phone, they reach out with an award letter and they don't hear back. People are winning government contracts and they're not even communicating with the agency. All right. I've been checking my email every day for a year straight. Okay. Looking for award letters. And my communication is so strong because I am in logistics that is something that makes me stand out like big time. Because when I heard that, and it's not the first agency or person that I've heard it from, people struggle with communication. If I see an email, I'm responding to that email right away. So when the contracting officer reached out to me from the same agency that she was telling me she was having challenges with in her agency was communication, I was on top of it like that. The minute she reached out to me and asked me if she can have a conversation, almost 8 minutes later, I responded to her message and said, yes, I'm available at 2:30. We can talk today. Let's go here. And before I was awarded the contract, she wanted to speak with me about 3, 4 times to clarify a couple things. I was on that phone. I was in my email every single time. I did not let an opportunity go by where I felt like I could potentially miss out on connecting with her. Okay. If I would have never took that course, that marketing and contracting course, I would have never knew that that agency was having problems with communication. They were awarding people contracts and they couldn't get a hold of the companies that were literally being awarded. And they would have to go down the line and award someone else who was more communicative. Right? I thought that was I thought that was crazy. Okay. So this C.L.E.A.R system that I'm showing you, it works. All right. And my master class, stop sharing the screen. My master class is coming out July 24th, right? You're going to want to be a part of that master class because the C.L.E.A.R strategy that I shared with you now is something that you want to understand. And I hope explaining it here has made it very easy for you to understand what the government is asking for you, or I'm sorry, from you. But this masterclass, we're going to go way deeper into it. I'm going to show you how to structure an entire proposal, put it together, talk about pricing strategies, talk about technical data, evaluation, reading the bid. Okay, as many times as you need to go through that slideshow that I just shared with you, please do. Please do. Because that is a format that is very clear. So it is make sense Monday, but you tell me if that made sense, right? Like, subscribe, make sure you comment. I always do that. Comment with any questions that you have. The chat is over here. The chat is over here. With any comments that you have. If you have any questions about what you saw within this formula, okay, please let me know. I am very responsive on YouTube. You always see me responding, right? Is it done? Yum. Next time. All right, so C.L.E.A.R. C is for certify and create. L is for locate opportunities. E is for evaluate and educate. A is for apply to win. And if you can do all of those successfully, R is for repeat and refine, also known as rinse and repeat. All right. So if you can pull those things off, you can easily win government contracts. But if you want to go deeper, okay, July 24th, masterclass in full effect. You want to be a part of it. All right. Like, subscribe. Thank you for your time tonight. Thank you for hanging with me. Make it make sense Monday. We are out. Have a blessed night.